Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's edition of Tales from the CTO. My name is Jaime, and we're going to be continuing our conversation last month around our technology strategy as it relates to potential recession conditions. And specifically this month, we're going to talk about your actual roadmap, assuming you have a roadmap and it's visual in some capacity. And we'll talk about maybe some things that you can do that might influence maybe even creating a roadmap. So I won't go through this again. If this is, I'll assume that everyone here has an understanding of how we view technology through a framework of a house and how that house has different rooms of that kind of make it up, and that we leverage metaphors like renovation and construction to describe in real world terms how we look at technology. So to get into this month's conversation specifically around what the actual roadmap is. And when we think about a roadmap, we think about things from an actionable, plan-oriented perspective. Where we're saying, okay, here's what we're going to be doing for the next 6 months, for example. Here's what we're going to be doing for the next 12 months. And it's an organic document that is evergreen and continues to roll over. So as the dates, kind of catch up, we're thinking 12 months ahead, 8 months ahead, whatever the case may be. So when we think about a recession, and we're looking at it from the lens last month when we talked about how do we prioritize, how do we either move things up, stretch things out, and I wanted to show you and talk about what would that actually look like from the actual plan. So if we think about this artifact here as a way to visualize our roadmap and visualize our plan relative to the different rooms of the house for the next 12 months, one of the things that we could do and say, you know what, we have to make some hard decisions here because either, perhaps we don't have the type of capital that we thought we would have, or we don't have the type of, support that we need to get things done. So one of the things that we can do is say, you know what, maybe we kind of just scratch, should we say this item here, not as relevant for right now. We're going to put it into our backlog, reevaluate what's relevance to our business at the tail end of the recession. Or maybe we say, you know what, we do have the capital, but we actually want to extend these projects so as not to consume our capital as quickly. So maybe, for example, this project here, the timeline stretches so that even though the cost presumably stays the same, our cash payments for that project extend and allow us to kind of float in a little bit more relatively safe capacity. Or maybe we want to say we have this major project going on. We want to take advantage of some of the conditions that we feel are going to come as a result of the end of the recession, and we want to bring this forward, right? So if we bring that forward, that means we likely have to shuffle other elements of a roadmap around because there's only so much change from a technology perspective that we can, adequately accept all at the same time. So this allows us a very dynamic view, dynamic lens to how we think and strategize our roadmap. And I think kind of these two artifacts in conjunction with each other allow us to really think and say, okay, how do we prioritize? What's important to us now? What's important to us in 6 months? And then based off of that importance and criticality, how do we decide what goes, what doesn't go? Do we stretch things out? Do we compress them, make them faster? Do we reorder items to take advantage of current conditions, et cetera? And so we really encourage organizations to have this visual roadmap in place to allow us the ability to kind of plan things out and react to conditions like a recession. If this makes sense and you'd like to have a conversation relative to your roadmap and what you could potentially do to prepare for or take advantage of a recession, we'd love to have a chat. Reach out at CTO@proserveit.com. Or if you don't have a roadmap and would love to have this version for yourself, again, we'd love that chat. We have some very lightweight, inexpensive ways to kind of dip your toes in the water, so to speak, to kind of just see, is this right for me? Can we get value from this? And how do we build a muscle around planning from a technology perspective? Hope that's helpful, and we'll look forward to talking again next month.